everyone, Josh12 back again with another video, and yes, I am back with another Dragon Ball Super review episode, whatever the fuck. Yes, it's been a while since I've done any Dragon Ball Super videos, specifically reviews for the actual series, and there's a lot of reasoning behind that, but beforehand, before I get into any of that shit, please keep in mind, during the process of recording this actual episode, review, and video, I am pretty fucking sick. Yes, I am ill. If you look at the video itself and if you see an icon somewhere on the video, that is a clear, significant clue as to why I may sound shittier than usual. It is the universal, pun intended, keep that shit in mind, universal symbol for me, that is Josh12, being sick during the process of making a video. So, for future reference, another pun intended, Dragon Ball Super puns all over the place, come on. I am fucking sick, so keep that shit in mind, and when I'm sick, I get pissy, and I also ramble, so get ready for disliking the video, because those are the two main things that trolls hate with my channel, which is ramblings and people talking, even though that's like majority of YouTube at this point, you fucking idiots. However, with that being said, it's been a while since I reviewed anything Dragon Ball. I tried to get some manga reviews out there. Unfortunately, that wasn't going down. I went to Chicago. Also, on the side note, I've kind of not kept up to date with Dragon Ball Super. I kind of dropped off the series, so I have to binge watch it up to this point. And I enjoyed for what it was, what we've gotten from the last episode I reviewed to now. I will say that the last portion of the Future Trunks arc was definitely, there was a lot to be desired in that finale, if you will, which I know a lot of people have already discussed heavily. I'm not going to get into it. It is what it is. The filler stuff, there was a lot of fun. There was also a lot of, you know, just jibber jabber, which of course it is Super, so you can only expect two kinds of viewing pleasures from Dragon Ball Super, which is either A, fun entertainment, or B, extreme tediousness. It's just tedious. But the filler stuff, I know they love making like little mini arcs in between actual sagas, but I wish they would stop doing that. Like, haven't they learned from that stupid like Vigello shit? Enough with the mini arcs. I mean, like, I love Gohan and Great Saiyan Man as much as the next, but I mean, like, come on, you did epicness with the Yamcha baseball episode. Just do more of that. And when I mean do more of that, I don't mean like make more Yamcha filler I mean, there's a whole manga based on the fucker now. But I mean, like, fucking make self-contained bottled episodes, not like mini arcs. But whatever, I digress regardless. Enough of my ramblings, let's get into the actual episode at hand, which of course is Dragon Ball Super Episode 77, titled Let's Do It Omni King, the universe's greatest martial arts tournament. This is going to be my review for said episode, and of course if you've not seen the episode beforehand, please go check it out, because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now, if there's anything I have to say that is a huge positive with the episode of the new Universal Survival arc, which I am incredibly hyped for. I have been for a long time, ever since we were teased months before last year. I mean, I've just been incredibly hyped for this new arc, especially after the consistent spoilers we get. I mean, thank you, internet. I mean, fuck, you continue with the spoilers, but this arc definitely starts off not really with a bang per se, but if there's anything I take away with it, is that this episode definitely has like a different vibe to it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the tone that they're kind of going for, but it definitely feels like the Future Trunks was almost like, to a certain extent, like the predecessor to this new style and format Dragon Ball Super is kind of going for. Because up until like the Future Trunks arc and to now, Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, to an extent, and of course Champa, were really just like fun, campy sagas. There were some dangerous things that were going on, some very ominous, crazy things that went down, but it wasn't until like the Future Trunks arc, and now with this new arc, where it seems like Toei Animation and whoever is really going for a more dramatic tone with Dragon Ball Super, and it definitely like it just feels different. Like the whole vibe of the show, and maybe it's like new hirees, I don't know, I don't really look to too much detail to every single thing that pertains to this, but it definitely feels like this new arc, starting with this new arc, completely changes the scope and the tone of what Dragon Ball Super is. It's still fun and entertaining, it's goofy, it's stupid, just like Dragon Ball is as a whole, with, of course, a lot of heart. Never forget, it does have as stupid as Dragon Ball can or cannot be, it is very much a heartfelt series with a lot of fucking heart and passion. So that's kind of the first thing I have to point out there. It just feels like a different show we're getting, which I like. Of course, the biggest, newest thing that we've gotten is a new intro. We got a new intro with new song, new animation. I like like it. The song, it's okay, but overall the new animation definitely leaves a lot of spoilers, a lot of teasers for things to happen within this new arc. The scope of this arc, or at least this episode, is that it opens up with very ominous teases to what to expect, which is the Omni Kings having this really cool chess checkers holographic hologram. Apparently these little holographic planets and universes they're messing with are actual universes, so whenever they fuck up with one, basically are eliminated in real life, which was interesting. And it kind of just sets up the stages of that the Omni Kings are bored, they need some entertainment. Of course, that's where Goku comes in, and we'll talk about that in a second. Goku, in true Goku fashion, is bored as shit with his regular life. He doesn't want to farm. He doesn't want to hang out with his family. Why do any of that fucking real life stuff when you can have fantasy adventure stuff, which is going to another universe and fucking training with some superpowered gods? So that's what Goku's main plan is for the rest of this episode. And we kind of get to my biggest nitpick with this episode premiere for this new arc, which is Goku, before he gets home to change and go on to meet up with Whis for some new training with Goten, I might add, he has this weird interaction with some robbers, and it's so bafflingly stupid the way it's formulated that I find pleasure in how crazy and wacky it is, but I also hate it at the same time, because on one hand it's fucking stupid and funny because you see Goku beat up and pwn a couple of noobs, but also on the second hand you're like, you have to look at it from a step back and say, what the fuck were you thinking in the first place, sons of bitches? I mean, if a guy, let's say for instance you're trying to pull off a scheme, if a guy comes over to help you out and he picks up a fucking truck with his bare hands, fucking puts it on the road for you, what do you think guns are gonna do if he fucking picked up a truck? And that's what happens. That's the setup to the scene. It kind of segues into the actual nitpick, which is during this altercation with Goku and these robbers, apparently Goku gets scratched, which leaves him with this weird scar, which is referenced later in the episode, and it kind of opens up this open dialogue between characters, which is Goku's rusty, he needs to train. However, it's just very inconsistent with his character, not to mention his power level, considering he's a god at this point. He has access to God Ki. He's a Super Saiyan Blue, or whatever the fuck that means in the context of the series, and somehow bullets can harm his body. I wish there was just more consistency with even the most smallest little whatevers that they put in their episodes. It's not the first time that they've done this, not only in Super, but in most of Dragon Ball. Like, ever since Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, especially, to newest Dragon Ball content, we've seen various inconsistencies with Goku getting hurt by, like, real-world objects that wouldn't really normally hurt him physically. It just is stupid, and I wish they would stop doing that. Regardless of any of that, we segue into, of course, the biggest fangasm on the internet that everyone can't stop talking about, and that is, of course, Bulma being pregnant. Yes, as Goku transitions his way into connecting with Whis for his new training, of course, we have to get some Bulma and Vegeta stuff in there, and this is the most interesting aspect of the episode, the one thing that really makes me take a step back, because it really makes me look at the fan base in a different light. And I've kind of talked about this like here and there outside of YouTube, and it's one of those things where the fan base of not only Dragon Ball but with most fandoms, but looking at it in Dragon Ball specifically, the fan base for this series is so baffling at times. It really makes me think, like, what is it about the series that everyone cares about the most, you know? Because it's like, we have this new arc, a lot of shit's gonna go down, but it almost felt like more people were excited for Bulma being pregnant, and it's like, sure, that's cool and all, that's nice, but who really cares at the end of the day? That's kind of the thing that I take a step back and, like, question, like, who really gives a shit? Bulma's pregnant, sure, we all expected that. If you remember the end of Z, she does have a second child, which is her daughter, Brawl, or Bola, whichever name you want to go with, but at the end of the day, it's like, who really gives a shit? I mean, like, the character of Brawl is irrelevant. She doesn't really add anything to the series. I mean, like, you can say the same thing about Pan, but at least she kind of does something, I think. I don't know, it's one of those things I think about and debate within myself or with others. It's just, what is it that everyone cares about? I don't know. It's just weird how you can pick up on something that's so small and be so passionate over it. I mean, like, for me, I'm a huge Goku fan. I've said that in multiple Dragon Ball videos. Hell, I'm a Goku faggot. I'm gay for Goku. At least that's what I've been told somewhere on the YouTubes. And even for things that happen to Goku in this series, specifically Super, I don't get as passionate for anything that happens to him meticulously as much as most people on the internet in this fandom get for any other character, or specifically, most importantly, Bulma and Vegeta. It's just one of those just very baffling things. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing. It's just one of those things where I take a step back and think. Bulma's pregnant. She's having her second kid. Vegeta's very anxious for it, I guess. Which is another thing that takes me a step back in this episode in two different ways. On one section, I definitely feel like this is a positive because it's very interesting to see the development in Vegeta's character, but on the other hand, it kind of feels very almost retconny of Vegeta's characteristics, which is Vegeta really doesn't give a shit about this kind of stuff, but somehow Super, because of its desire to base most of its on specifically the dynamics of the Vegeta family, it seems to really target that, because I guess they know there's such a large target audience for that specifically that they have to target that at least every one or so episodes and arcs. So they do that specifically, but at the same time, it just makes me iffy at times. Just specifically at times, because I do see this as a positive, and it's also really cool and interesting and fun, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, Vegeta, why don't you train with me? Oh, no, I can't, because Bulma's pregnant, and she'll kill me if I leave. Then again, you fucking... Don't we remember what happened in Z or something? It's like, dude, she was pregnant, you left her ass to train. It's an interesting topic. It's very interesting. Overall, Bulma and Vegeta, they're having a second kid. Goku eventually goes up to Whis and Beerus' planet to train, and eventually Goku brings up the fact that he wants to fight new characters, and then again the Omni Kings tournament comes up because Goku, unlike any other character, really wants this tournament to happen, much to Beerus and Whis' dismay. He goes to Omni King's world to specifically ask him for said tournament, and Goku is pretty much just the guy who gets this whole thing kind of going, which definitely has a lot of people on edge with his character because he's giving a lot of universes the back end of the stick when it comes to his desire to fight stronger characters across the realm. On one hand, it's very much into Goku's character, but on the other hand, I can definitely see the negative side that a lot of people are having, which is Goku's causing a lot of possible collateral damage, but that's kind of how the tournament just ends up happening. It's because of Goku wanting to find and fight stronger characters, which is a part of his character. He is a selfish character with one desire, which is to become the strongest. It's just one of those traits that his genre has, which is to have that one goal, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, this episode was really great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a great first episode. It definitely had a slow build, but it had a great setup and a good ending, and it was very consistent all the way through. I definitely had very specific nitpicks, but nothing too crazy in this episode, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. The music was great, animation was pretty solid as well, the story was good. I'm just very interested as to what could end up happening with this arc, because people are definitely going crazy over the possible repercussions of Goku starting this arc, but the question that I really have is what actual repercussions can happen, considering that what can happen that will really have high stakes. Granted, other universes will definitely be highly affected by the actions of Goku and this tournament, but with the actual tournament that we follow the main story for, it more than likely will have no effect. But will that actually be true? We'll see what happens. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. If I have to end this off and give my solid rating, I have to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a really good, solid start to the new arc, and I'm excited to see what happens. I've been hyped for this new arc for a while, and I can't wait to see more. But with that being said and done, comment below, let me know what you think about the new arc. I don't know specifically if I will be reviewing Dragon Ball Super like I used to. I definitely said in the past that I was going to start doing more English dub stuff, but I took a step back and thought, I really don't want to rewatch the series and make videos on it again. It's just, I've already talked about that stuff, so it's counterproductive for me. So I don't want to do that. And also on the manga side, I really had high hopes for Torotaro doing great things within the Future Trunks arc in his manga, but I haven't seen anything truly impressive. Other than pretty cool action scenes and artwork, I haven't seen anything impressive. And plus, whatever happened to the manga surpassing the anime shit? That doesn't really seem to be happening. So I don't know what the fuck's gonna go down in there, but we'll see what happens. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I really appreciate it. And of course, this has been Judge 12, and I hope you enjoyed.